Total Pro Sports presents the 21 worst nicknames in NBA history. Every great athlete has a nickname. Some are more well-known than others, of course, whether it's because they just roll off the tongue or because they fit so perfectly. But almost every athlete has picked up one somewhere along the line, and NBA players are no exception. Unfortunately, not everyone is a Hall of Famer, and not everyone has a Hall of Fame nickname. For every Hakeem the Dream or Air Jordan, there's probably two nicknames that make you tilt your head and wrinkle your brow in suspicion. And today we're taking a look at those. The stupidest, weirdest, and most unfortunate nicknames in the history of the NBA. Number 21, Ack, Tommy Heinsohn. I know the 50s and 60s were a different era with different styles and different sensibilities, but I'm pretty sure they spoke essentially the same version of English as we do today. And I'm pretty sure Ack would have sounded like someone coughing up a loogie then just as it does now. So I'd say this Celtics legend and Hall of Famer deserved better. FYI, Ack is supposed to sound like the sound of a machine gun, the idea being that Tommy would just fire off shots indiscriminately like a machine gun. But wouldn't Machine Gun Tommy have been better? Number 20, The Worm, Dennis Rodman. The Worm certainly was an accurate description for Dennis Rodman, who had a way of getting under opponents' and fans' skin like a parasite. But surely we could do better for a Hall of Famer and one of the greatest defensive players of all time. Number 19, The Machine, Sasha Vujacic. The Machine would be a really awesome nickname for Sasha if he were actually a really good basketball player. Unfortunately, he is not. So I propose we call him the guy who used to be engaged to Maria Sharapova. Cool? Number 18, Plastic Man, Stacey Augmon. They called this former UNLV standout and NBA journeyman the Plastic Man because he had an amazing ability to stretch. I think the word material they were going for was rubber. Rubber stretches, guys. In fairness, it's likely somebody named him after the old-timey DC Comics character Plastic Man, who had his own comic book from 1941 to 56. But that's still stupid, because again, plastic has the physical characteristic known as plasticity, not elasticity. Number 17, the world's greatest shooter, Damon Jones. Who would have thought a guy who called himself the world's greatest shooter would never make an all-star game and play with 10 different teams over his 11-year career? Number 16, Butterbean, Bob Love. Apparently, this three-time NBA All-Star acquired his nickname because, you got it, he enjoyed eating butter beans, aka lima beans. At least his favorite food wasn't couscous. Number 15, Human Victory Cigar, Stojko Vrankovic. Boston media types nicknamed the little-used Stojko Vrankovic the Human Victory Cigar because, like the legendary victory cigar of the Great Red Auerbach, he only appeared in the final minutes when the Celtics had the game won. Funny, sure, but it's still a little clunky for a nickname. Maybe they could have just called him the Stogie or something, and then used Human Victory Cigar as a kind of explanatory nickname subtitle. Number 14, Baby Jordan, Harold Miner. They started calling Harold Miner Baby Jordan in high school because he could air it out like MJ. However, being compared to the greatest basketball player that ever lived is only setting you up for disappointment, and that's pretty much what he was in the NBA. Oh sure, Baby Jordan won the slam dunk contest 2 times, but lasted only 4 seasons in the league before getting cut by the Cavaliers in 1996. Ouch. Number 13, Microwave, Vinnie Johnson. They called Vinnie the Microwave in Detroit because he could get hot almost instantly. Clever? Sure. But is it just me, or does that imply that the rest of the time he's ice cold? Personally, I'd rather be called the A-bomb or something like that. It lends itself to explosiveness, but also sounds a little more menacing than the appliance you use to make popcorn. Number 12, Skip to My Lou, Rafer Alston. Skip to My Lou is a children's song. No grown man should ever be named after a children's song, even if he is an all-style, no-substance D-leaguer who could never make it in the NBA. Number 11, Dwight Howard, David Lee. Pretty much anytime you call someone the X version of Y, it's going to be problematic. Obviously, it implies you are kind of like that really good thing, but not quite. And of course, it's worse when we're talking about race. Hey, David Lee, if you were black, then you'd be really good, because black people are better at basketball. Could you imagine this nickname in reverse? Hey, Brandon Phillips, you're like a black Dustin Pedroia. Yeah, that would not go over well. I say we avoid nicknames that refer to race. Number 10, Big Paper Daddy, Ricky Pierce. If you're a big paper daddy, that means you're affluent. The paper here being money, of course. And the big meaning you have lots of it in large denominations. Why this nickname was applied to Ricky Pierce, a bench player for his entire career, is a mystery to me. Also, it just sounds really stupid. Number 9. Fat, Lafayette Lever. Lafayette Lever never had a weight problem. Instead, he got his nickname from his little bro, who had trouble saying Lafayette and always spit out fat instead. Cute story, awful nickname. Just think about it for a second. Fat Lever. Number 8. Polish Gazelle, Marcin Gortat. Would you say that Marcin Gortat is like a gazelle? Well, maybe a Polish gazelle, which is like a regular gazelle that's slower and less graceful because it's been fattened by pierogies. Number 7. The GOAT, Earl Manigault. Okay, so Earl the GOAT Manigault never played in the NBA, which means I'm breaking the rules. However, he is one of the most legendary street ballers of all time, and at the end of his career, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said Earl was the greatest player he ever played against. Keep in mind, Kareem played with and against Wilt, Oscar Robertson, Dr. J, Bird, Magic, and MJ. So how could I ignore him and his legendary nickname, the GOAT, which of course is so terrible because it's what you call the guy who totally blew it for his team. Number 6. Booby, Daniel Gibson. How does a man go through life allowing people to call him Booby? Please explain this to me. Number 5. Pooh, Jerome Richardson. Ditto what I just said about Booby. Please explain how a self-respecting man allows people to call him Pooh. Number 4. Bimbo, Burnell Coles. Is Bimbo really worse than Booby and Pooh? Hell, I don't even know anymore. I do know it would have been amazing if they'd played on the same team. Booby passes to Pooh, who dishes it to Bimbo for the 3. Number 3. Barley Cares, Joe Barry Carroll. Get it? Barry Carroll turns into Barley Cares? That's what happens when you're a huge draft bust who played with utter indifference. Number 2. Bad Porn, Corey Maggette. Corey received the nickname Bad Porn from the Golden State Warriors fans before he'd even played a game in a Golden State uniform. You see, they thought he was a tad overrated and likened him to, yep, that's right, bad porn. Sure, there's penetration and scoring, but are you really happy with what you're seeing? Burn. Of course, this only highlights how hilarious it is that we use the word penetration so much in sports. And number 1, Crib Midget, Jameer Nelson. Depending on who you talk to, Crib Midget might simply be street slang for kids, or it might be street slang for particularly whiny, annoying kids. Either way, the fact that Dwight Howard gave this nickname to his own teammate back when he was with Orlando kind of makes Dwight look like a huge douche. Of course, that makes sense, given that Dwight actually is a huge douche. In fact, why don't we all call him the Big D-Bag? And that's it for the 21 worst nicknames in NBA history. But wait, we're not done with you yet. In the comments below, we want to know what you think the best nicknames are in NBA history. And for more cool videos, click subscribe.